The first thing to do to disassemble the CPU is to prepare the tools first. Next, we prepare the CPU that we will disassemble. If you have prepared the CPU, the first step we do is open the casing on the CPU cover. The second step, we unload the power supply on the CPU.
Here is the power supply that we have dismantled from the CPU. The second step is to disassemble the cooling fan on the CPU. This is the cooling fan that we have removed from the CPU. The third step, we unload the hard drive on the CPU. Here is the hard drive that we have dismantled from the CPU. The fourth step, we remove the cable and RAM cable on the CPU. This is the RAM that we have removed from the CPU. The fifth step, we disassemble the motherboard. Here is the motherboard that we have dismantled from the CPU. These are all the components that we have unloaded from the CPU. The first is the power supply. Power supply function, changing the current voltage so that it does not exceed the maximum limit of the device, becomes backup power in the form of a battery. An example of this function is the UPS, which is made to prevent sudden power failure when the energy supply stops. The second is the motherboard. The motherboard is a computer hardware device that functions as a place to install all the hardware on the computer. The third is the processor. Fungsi processor adalah untuk memproses seluruh kegiatan yang dilakukan oleh komputer maupun laptop. The fourth is a cooling fan. Fan cooler or cooling fan is a tool to maintain the temperature inside the computer case. The fifth is the hard disk. Fungsi hard disk sangat vital sebagai tempat menyimpan segala macam data, file, serta dokumen virtual seperti doc, PDF, MP3. The sixth is RAM. Fungsi RAM yang perlu untuk kami ketahui adalah sebagai penyimpan memori sementara. Fungsi ini merupakan fungsi RAM yang paling utama. Memori yang ada pada RAM kemudian akan diteruskan menuju CPU untuk diproses informasi dari aplikasi maupun program yang ada dan kamu simpan di dalam RAM. After everything is taken out, we reassemble the components on the CPU. Now to the stage of installing components on the CPU. The first step, we pair the motherboard first. The second step, we input the power supply. fourth step, we enter the hard disk on the CPU. Now fifth, we enter the processor. The sixth step, we enter the cooling fan. Seventh step, we enter the cable. We continue to tidy up the cables that are not neat. The ninth step, we put the RAM in place. When finished, we go to the last stage. This is the appearance of the motherboard after everything is installed neatly. The final stage is that we put the case and cover back on the CPU.